James Cockayne. I'm the New South Wales Anti-slavery Commissioner. An Anti-slavery Commissioner is an independent actor appointed by the government in New South Wales, but answering to the Parliament, not to the government. My role is to try and make sure we get better outcomes for people who are at risk of or exposed to modern slavery. So that means when they come forward, we try and refer them to places where they can get help. It means we monitor government laws, policies and actions to try and ensure they're effective in preventing and responding to modern slavery. And it gives me a mandate to do any number of other things around raising awareness and taking action to strengthen the system's response to modern slavery risks. We've just published a strategic plan for 2023 to 2026, so 3-year plan. It's called Working Together for Real Freedom, and I think it gives away the punchline in that heading there, that we're really looking to mobilise people across New South Wales to take action to address modern slavery. So for us in the office, that really means our role is to mobilise that effort across a number of different fronts, 5 different fronts in particular. First of all, we're going to be working to strengthen the ability of people on the front line to identify modern slavery when they see it. So that means people in law enforcement, people in the healthcare system, people in child protection, for example. Secondly, we're going to be trying to enable remedy. So unfortunately, we think that as many as 16,000 people might be living in modern slavery in New South Wales right now. Those are people who need help, they have human rights that need protecting. We need to strengthen the ability of the system to give them what they need: access to housing, criminal justice, financial support, immigration advice, those kinds of things. Thirdly, we need to work to foster responsible business practice. So we know that in New South Wales, government and private businesses are buying things that unfortunately are made through modern slavery overseas, but also here in New South Wales. People in the cleaning sector, for example, or in the security sector, or even in agriculture, picking up berries or packing meat in abattoirs around New South Wales, are sometimes exposed, tragically, to modern slavery. So we need to work with business to foster more responsible business conduct, and that includes through government procurement. Fourthly, we're going to try and change the narrative. So at the moment, when you think about modern slavery, you often tend to see quite tragic, dark pictures of people with their hands bound or perhaps branded with a barcode like they're a commodity, trying to convey that idea of people being treated like property. What that tends to do is elicit a pretty negative reaction from the user, the consumer, the person on Instagram. So we're trying to lean into the fact that these are real people with real life stories who have capabilities, who've been through terrible experiences, but are now looking to get their lives back on track, to find their strength, their power, their voice, to take control again and to grow. There's a big opportunity by working with people who've experienced modern slavery to have a much more positive narrative about what anti-slavery is all about. And fifthly, we're all about developing a community of purpose. So bringing people together to make sure that everybody in New South Wales and beyond can play their part in fighting modern slavery. Modern slavery is really about taking away people's voice. So survivor inclusion is really critical to effective anti-slavery work. We need to make sure that when we're responding to the risks of modern slavery and helping people who've been harmed, we're not speaking for them. We're finding ways to include them in our work, to give them back control over their own life, to give them agency, to help them find their voice again. Otherwise, we risk reproducing those dependency dynamics, those power dynamics that are really at the heart of modern slavery. So survivor inclusion is about finding ways that are safe for people who've had these experiences and often continue to live with really serious trauma in their life, psychological trauma, medical trauma, sometimes financial trauma as well. Finding ways to just give them the opportunity, if they want to take it, when they want to take it, to get involved in designing, delivering, and evaluating our responses. So here in New South Wales, since the 1st of July last year, public entities, more than 400 public entities with public procurement of over $30 billion annually, have obligations to take what are called reasonable steps to ensure that they're not buying goods and services made with modern slavery. And we're publishing guidance on reasonable steps that will lay out in great detail what is expected from New South Wales public entities, government departments, local councils, many others, in order to ensure that they're acting responsibly and minimising these risks of modern slavery to people in their supply chains and their own operations. In business, people often think about risk in terms of how business practices produce uncertainty in the bottom line or on their balance sheet. We tend to think about risk to business. Increasingly, we see governments all around the world, including the Australian government, committing to a concept of responsible business conduct that is much more about focusing on risk to people. How does the way that the business operates, whether it's the production or distribution of the goods and services that it's offering, how does that actually create risks to people? Workers in supply chains or in own operations, communities where you're working. Ethical and responsible business conduct in that context is about ensuring that the way that you acquire goods and services to then deliver your own goods and services, your own activities, that minimises the risk to people. The general public can help us in many different ways. First of all, if you see something that you think might be connected to modern slavery, you don't have to know that it is modern slavery. It's a complex legal term, but if you see somebody who is being abused in the workplace or unable to leave their home or in some other way having their ability to make their own life choices drastically reduced, get in touch with us. Get in touch with law enforcement, get in touch with Anti-Slavery Australia or the Red Cross, who are key civil society actors here. They have helplines and people with expertise that can figure out how to identify these people and give them the support they need. So report it, that's the first thing. Secondly, think about how it shows up in the everyday, in your own life. Maybe you're buying things that might have been made through modern slavery. You're probably not aware of it. But if you start to think about it and look for it in the cotton in your clothes or in the solar panels that maybe you're putting on your house, something like that, you might begin to learn there's a risk of modern slavery, and then you can make choices as a consumer to reward firms that are doing the right thing and take your business away from firms that aren't doing the right thing. The same in the investment space. You can, if you have superannuation, for example, you should be looking at whether your super fund is taking action to ensure that it's not investing in modern slavery. And then finally, like all good citizens in Australia, you can use your voice. So whether it's on social media or by contacting your MP, make sure that they're paying attention to modern slavery as well and to taking action to fight it.